Oh man, there's so much news. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Oh, I got all kinds of shit pulled up.
So much news.
Yeah, and none of it's good.
Wait, what?
3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Server Restart In. It's a weekly World of Warcraft podcast hosted by three opinionated players who like to get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game.
Current state of the game.
My name is Jim. I am joined by Kristen
Hello.
and Brian.
Hello.
And boy, oh boy, is there a bunch of news.
Boy, oh boy.
You know, current game, maybe not a lot's happening right now. Probably the first week that I'm not actively trying to do all the world quests because I got all my stuff maxed out for the renown.
You really need to get back to your Death Knights, though, right?
I do. I have other characters to level, and I still have
Army of Death Knights.
an Army of Death Knights to level. So I still have like 23 or 4 of them to get from 60 to 70.
Go visit armyofdeathknights.com, right? And support Jim and his
DK
efforts.
Army, the Carmy.
Jim has an OnlyFans slash DK Army.
Only Death Knights,
Only
really.
Death Knights.
But one of the main things that is coming with the announcement of 10.1 is the fact that they're going to start implementing a part of the cross-faction guild system.
Yay!
So it started all this started off with the cross-faction groups for instanced content, which was dungeons, raids, and maybe some PvP stuff. Couldn't queue, but you had to form the group. So you could still do Mythic plus keys and all that kind of stuff with a cross-faction group, which is great. You know, it worked out pretty good. It allowed, you know, kind of to get a little bit more different comps and stuff like that with like the different racials for the, you know, between Alliance and Horde and all that stuff. So they're going to be adding in, you know, cross-faction guilds. Basically, the way this is going to work, according to the PTR patch notes, is that you'll be able to invite opposite faction friends into your guild, and they will receive the benefits of certain conveniences such as the guild chat and guild repairs. Currently, guilds will still be affiliated with either Horde or Alliance based on the faction of the guild leader. Guild achievements and guild vendors are still going to reflect the guild's primary faction, meaning that
When I switch to Alliance, we're going to be an Alliance guild.
Oh, absolutely not. You better pass that over. That's not happening.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's not happening. We have time to discuss this in great detail and at great length because fuck. But yeah, so like achievements and stuff like that aren't going to be counting. It's still primary faction, meaning that if you have a Horde guild, Alliance members aren't going to be able to contribute to like the Alliance Slayer guild achievement, right? Because there's really no way they can. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love it.
So that's not going to be
That
able
would be
to.
hilarious, though, right?
It would be hilarious. So it's not a full integration, which I think they'd still be able to buy things from the. Yeah, they would get the benefits from the unlocked shared perks and stuff like that, and probably be able to buy things from the guild vendor, but just not contribute to certain things. You know, they said this is their first step in potentially several to publicly test this feature. So this isn't going to be, so this is on the PTR right now. So there may be additional things that get introduced before it goes live. You know, I mean, obviously they have to check and see what's going to happen. It's not going to erase your faction allegiance, like as far as like the open world is concerned and stuff like that, which that's almost like a system that's really not easily undone. It's kind of something that you would have to really change going forward, and like old content's just old content, and it is what it is.
It's just weird because it just feels like they should be able to flip a switch and just make people Horde or Alliance, or you know what I mean, and not have it tied to any racial thing. You know what I mean?
I think they probably could, but then that just, I don't know, it changes the story of some of the older zones. You know, like, oh, I can just walk into Ashenvale and not have any problems when I'm on my orc and all that stuff. You know, kind of like, because again, it's not a persistent world. So they're like time locked into like a certain scenario, but it's baby steps, right? You know, these are big, complicated systems that have been a foundation of the game for 18, 19 years now. 19 years this coming November, you know, coming up. So, I mean, it's not easy to just flip a switch, because there will be a lot of, or could potentially be a lot of unintended consequences. Wow. Unintended consequences are the words that meant to come out of my mouth. You know, it's like the wintergreen. You know, we're back to that. So that's kind of the big thing that's coming up. It's exciting. It's good.
Yes.
It's one of those things that everybody's been clamoring for a while, you know, and we can all remember the days when Azakostas said, nope, never going to happen, you know, and it's just like, either he knew they were already working on it and was just saying that just to say it, or enough changed and they realized that, you know, to kind of maintain a certain level of interest in the game, that they kind of had to adapt to like the current stuff.
I would guess that that's what happened.
It could be a little bit of both. I don't know. You never know.
I mean, it's easy to say when you're very popular and all of your servers are full, and you're not having to make allowances for, you know, everybody being on the Horde. It's easy to say, oh, we're never gonna, the faction war is integral to the story. It's very easy to say that when your subscriptions are up. But when they're waning,
well, they've been down for a while.
Things change. Yeah, I mean, well, sure, but you know, you reach a critical mass, and then you're like, oh, hey, suddenly the faction story, it's a little more fluid than we thought it was. You know, there's a little more. There's some intricacies involved. You know,
look,
I mean, when you really look at it, they're adapting.
They are. Yeah.
Well, the faction,
it's a good thing.
The faction war ended with the end of BFA, right?
Yes.
And I, for one, would never want to get rid of my memories of New Home.
New Home.
In Nazjatar.
Sure.
Because that was amazing.
That was fun.
You know, spending like, 3 or 4 hours just pushing back and forth between the Alliance and the Horde base in war mode.
But the thing is, you don't actually have to get rid of those memories. I mean,
it's a joke.
Yeah, you need to get rid of them.
Oh, that was a joke? Oh. I completely missed that.
But
you don't, you know, you're going to have those memories, whether you're Horde or Alliance, they're your memories.
I do think that there will probably still be, even if they do allow stuff like that, and they do allow a mixture of like the factions in like certain areas and stuff like that, I still think that there should probably be holdouts, because that's a more real world type scenario. Like, it shouldn't just all be, oh, all of a sudden everybody's great and we can hang out, you know, because that's not how real life works. I can only imagine that's not how a fucking fantasy world works.
I mean, you don't have friends that are
I'm sorry. No, what I'm talking about is there being pockets of areas where you go there and they're anti-alliance. That's just, or anti-horde or whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be everywhere, but it is a thing that would be more realistic, but we'll see where it goes. It's good. It's coming a lot sooner than I think a lot of people thought. It was because it was just the end of Shadowlands that they introduced the cross-faction groups. It was the last patch for that.
It was a good thing that they did too, because it opens up dungeons. You know what I mean? Like you're that was my dramatic pause. Dungeons. Yeah. No, I mean it makes it so your queue times are shorter, so it's like you don't go over to. Sure, you have more people to pull from.
It doesn't affect queues. Queues are not cross-faction. It's forming a group.
Well, isn't that part of a queue time?
You don't have
forming
queue
the
time.
group?
No.
Like,
okay,
don't
that's
you
not
when
the
you're
same
waiting?
thing.
You're waiting in the queue to form, and you form a group. So that's what.
It's a different system. You put it out and you pick people as opposed to an automatic grouping. There is no automatic grouping for cross-faction. It's not a thing. It's not in LFR, and it's not in Dungeon Finder.
Oh, I don't know. I don't ever do that stuff.
It's only when you are forming pre-built groups
that
it does. So it does increase your pool.
Oh, okay. Well, then no, then
it
wouldn't. Yeah, it increases your pool of people to pick from, but it has nothing to do with your queue.
Yeah.
I thought that they had it. I don't LFR. And even if I were to LFR, there's so many people in LFR, I'm not looking to see, oh my God, is that a Draenei?
I do. I'd make sure that those fuckers don't sneak in.
I just leave every time they show up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are terrible.
I know. It's good though. It's good to be terrible.
It's good to be terrible.
With the announcement of 10.1 and all that stuff, we got a new cinematic, which was pretty fucking amazing.
It was pretty good.
What was it called? Secret.
I didn't see it yet.
Oh, okay.
No, you could spoil it. Spoil the crap out of it.
Well, essentially,
it's pretty good.
What it is there's a couple of Dracthyr who are noticing that the storms are abating on like their starting area, and then they see these big dragons flying, and at first they think they're the aspects, and they hide, and it's the remaining incarnates. The ones that got free at the end of the raid. And then they land and they turn into their visage form, which, have you not seen that yet?
Oh, it's good.
Oh, no. I'm going to send you this article. It just has a good screen cap of it. It is amazing. They have some pretty badass fucking models.
Yeah, they do.
But it's not even just that, right? The models are amazing, but they're talking about they realize that Neltharion has a secret lab somewhere.
What? That is cool. That's like a mini winter cream.
It does have some of the similar facial structures, but
dude, that looks so
but it's cool because like if you look, like part of her dress is her wing. It's hard to see on the center characters, but part of his cloak is like a tail ridge that goes down over the shoulder, and the other one's got the horns and stuff. But like they go in and they're breaking into like this area and like stealing some secrets that Neltharion hid to try and get to the thing that powers like his secret laboratory. So that's kind of what the new raid is. It's going to be Neltharion's old like secret laboratory where he made the Dracthyr.
Laboratory, Jim. It's called laboratory.
It's laboratory. But like obviously there's some defenses, and when they first walk in, and they just kind of like destroy them, and it's an amazing cinematic. It is very well done, and it's very intriguing to see what's going to happen next. It's not super.
Well, does this make them like not as throwaway then?
I mean, they're gonna
look how much detail and stuff is with these characters.
They're gonna be either because I don't think they're going to be the end boss of the next raid. I think there's going to be something in this.
I think there's something friendly
Avernus.
about it, Jim.
You think there's what?
I think there's something friendly about it.
I don't know. Maybe eventually it'll be an even bigger bad, and we join forces with these bad guys, just like everything else, right? They're not the real big bad. I don't know.
No more faction conflict because now we can split up into different factions.
We can make our own factions.
And now there's just
WoW
and
2.
now it's WoW 2 Guild Wars.
WoW 2, WoW Killer.
Yes,
That's what we'll call it.
the only WoW killer will be WoW itself. But yeah, so it's pretty neat. So it's definitely it's a good hook for the story to kind of see, because we're gonna get to explore the Forbidden Reach. The new raid's gonna have some Neltharion lore. Apparently, there's a new Neltharion model in the game. I don't know if it's gonna be some sort of like.
I accidentally saw it already.
Did you?
I don't think I looked at it. I think
Yeah.
I pulled it up, but I haven't looked at it. But I mean, it's just I don't know.
I saw some stuff. It's so Neltharion was Blackwing Lair, right? Neltharion's lair. It was so I saw, I don't know if people were just messing around or not, but do you remember in Blackwing Lair
The class callouts?
the class call
No, that's coming.
Yeah.
That's going to be in the raid.
Yeah, so that's a pretty neat callback to
Well,
And it's
to
Blackwing Lair, not Neltharion's Lair, because Neltharion's Deathwing.
elaborate. What do you mean?
Nefarian.
Classical out?
Nefarian. That's it. Yeah.
So at the end boss of Blackwing's Lair, Nefarian would say stuff like,
Oh my God.
Paladin, do this, or
Yeah.
something like that.
and
You
then
had-
you would have to they would unequip weapons, and they would do it. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, it was, you could get around it. Like you would have like macros to, switch your weapons back or whatever. And apparently, I don't know if people were screwing around or if they weren't, but I was specifically looking in the Balance Discord for Boomkin, and they're talking about for the class call out, it's like he switches your form to a random form for like 30 seconds
every
or
6
something
seconds
like
for
that.
30 seconds. Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
Wild Shift.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I was like,
so he's a
oh.
boss. So
Yes,
okay,
he's a boss.
We're fighting a
So
Neltharion
I'm
thing.
like, oh my God, that feels so bad, right? Somebody said even you're just getting ready to press convoke and then it switches you into bear and you're like, fuck.
Okay, this is here the Death Knight one is called Wild Grip. Neltharion takes a hold of the Death Knight's power of undeath, forcing them to death grip allies to their location every 6 seconds for 30 seconds.
Yep.
So it's randomly going to death grip people to you.
Warriors are randomly going to whirlwind groups of people. So thank you for that, Blizzard. From a healer perspective, assholes, not only are we going to have to deal with mechanics or whatever is going on, but we're also going to have to deal with fighting our own raid members. Yes.
Well,
awesome.
you don't fight them. They're
Well,
going to have to
no,
move
I
away,
mean,
kind of thing.
yes.
You
yes.
guys are all skirting or like around the actual topic, though.
What?
What do you like? What do you mean we're fighting Neltharion?
So, there's in the
Like, should we like spoiler the stuff? Because this is
Uh,
like.
I don't know. I mean, it's out there.
I mean, it's on Wowhead, but yeah, I mean, I guess
I'll put a tag at the beginning of
you could do that.
this,
Yeah.
that this contains spoiler information for 10.1, I guess. I mean it's the same thing when we fought fucking Rathian in whatever in
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not
BFA?
like.
oh yeah, he's dead. I mean, this has got to be. It has to be some sort of
Hey,
simulacrum or whatever.
here and now we're okay.
Or like some sort of like automaton or something like that. That's, or kind of like how we fought the
It
in
does say in the Venture Guide his visage still resides within the Crucible.
Yeah,
So-
so it's like a
okay.
part of them. It's kind of like Cindergosa in the Azure
I was
Vaults.
just gonna say that.
Oh, dude, they got some throwback what was it? Ashkandi? I don't know what it's
Ashkan.
called. The two-handed sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a redo of that. Ashkandor? I don't know. Looks just like the other one except like up to date. Oh, that's
Oh, like a
looks
high
great.
res model.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Two-hander. Yeah.
Nice.
It's
Oh,
incredible.
I finally got a second sword that I can use. A one-handed sword, so I got a second
Yay.
strike twice.
The fish are back.
Yep, I have the floppy fish back again. I'm dual wielding again. So tweet us your favorite fish.
Oh God.
Um,
My
there's-
favorite fish are the ones that you wield. Aw, that's so nice.
All right, Jim.
Shut
right,
up.
here's the big question.
what?
What is the deal with the upgrade levels?
All
Have you
right.
read about that at all?
So you're talking about the gear upgrades, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yep.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and pull it up. So currently, the only way you can upgrade gear is if it's Mythic Plus gear. So if it comes from a Mythic Plus dungeon or from the vault in a Mythic Plus slot, and they go from 1 or 2 to 13, I think is the max, or 12, 13, I think, and that's like the 415 or something like that. Currently, the only way to upgrade it is Valor, which you only earn by doing Mythic Plus dungeons. So they are scrapping that. And what's happening is that any gear, or just about any gear from end game content, whether it be world quests, maybe rares, raid, Mythic Plus, all that stuff, will have a way to be upgraded. You will get a currency called Flight Stones, and then another type of currency called Crests. And those crests are going to have different varieties: Whelpling Drake, Worm, and Aspect, which allow you to upgrade it to certain levels. So the higher difficulty content you do, the higher value of the crest you get will be. Meaning that if you're doing like high Mythic Plus dungeons, you're going to get the Aspects crest so that you can do upgrade gear to that higher level. But all the gear is going to be upgradable for the most part. You will not be able to upgrade PvP gear or crafted gear. Crafted gear will still be upgradable via the recraft system. So that way, and they're putting new stuff in so you can upgrade it higher. So that way, crafters can still have a job. It will not work on PvP gear or gear that's already top end. So if you're doing if it's Mythic Raid level gear,
Yeah.
it will not be upgradable.
That makes sense.
Sure, that's the top.
Yeah.
That's what everybody shoots for.
Yeah.
PvP gear, I think, is going to have its own stuff that you can do. There will be. It looks like there's going to be a weekly cap on the number of crests that you can get each week, starting at 10. It will increase over time, so that way you can catch up if you don't reach the cap in a week. So the kind of like how the Valor system works now. It starts off, you can only get like 1750 or 3500 the first week, and then it went up 1750 each week, the total cap you could get. Well, it says you can get 10 a week for, I don't know, the first week maybe or two. I don't think it's the cap of how many you can have. It's how many you can get that week. Kind of like the knowledge stuff from actually mining or herbing, right? You can only get 5 or 6 of them, of the main ones, and then but that's going to be a cap on it, and it'll go up as time goes on, so you can farm more if you want, for catch up stuff. So it looks like a crest is what you use to upgrade the item. So maybe so flight stones and a crest will be used. And like if you want to go up a level or 2 or 3 and it's within a certain range, you'll need 1, 2, or 3 crests of that level. As opposed to, like once you hit a break point, to go to the next level would be like an upgrade in the crest type. So like whelping to Drake, Drake to Worm, Worm to Aspect, right? It's kind of like there's a bracket of probably levels that each of those crests apply to.
So
Obviously,
what's the limiter?
you mean there's a cap on how many of the crests that you can get of each one?
No. Mythic Plus has a limiter of you have to have a specific rank to be able to upgrade your gear.
I don't know.
What's the limiter?
I haven't seen that if there is a limiter just yet. It says,
because if there's not, okay, that's cool.
well, the limiter is the number of items that you can get. Right, you can only get 10 of each type of crest.
Sure.
And if it takes, maybe it's not one, maybe it's a couple, maybe it takes 4. So that's really only 2 upgrades that first week of that level.
But there's no rank limiter.
I don't know.
What I'm getting at. Like that's the thing which is fine. I mean, I don't particularly like you have to
It
hit
says,
this
so the
rank
Keystone Master and Keystone Hero or whatever will still exist, but will not be tied to Mythic Plus upgrades. So it's the crest. The crests are the limiters as to how high you can upgrade.
So it's just how much you play. Where do you get the crests from again?
Anything.
So you could
it.
just do anything and upgrade your gear.
Right, but you only get so many per week at the beginning, and you have to do certain difficulty content, right? You'll get the aspect level crests from doing mythic raids or the equivalent of mythic pluses for that. But that's the only way you'll get them. But that's like probably 15 or higher or 20 or higher or something like that. You know what I mean?
So it's like the condensed resin things that you get now, where you have to do a specific level key or...
You mean the primal focuses?
Yes. Those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for upgrading regular gear. But
yeah.
Yes, it's like that. So the system is you're only going to be able to get so much. You're only going to be able to level so much at a time, right? And it just says, like there's going to be a discount in the upgrade cost if any character on your account has a higher item level in that slot. So, and it says second higher for rings or trinkets, which means if you got a ring, put in both slots.
Right.
And it's
usual.
a 50% reduction in the amount of flight stones. So that's pretty big. So and it just says any character. So it doesn't even have to be the same gear slot. So you can do a plate character, in my case, a Death Knight. And then if I was doing a Clothy, I'd be able to upgrade those slots with a discount. So that's good. And it says Valor's removed. Bonus flight stones will be awarded if somebody gets a mythic score upgrade, kind of like bonus Valor right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I don't like this thing. I'm just looking at their patch notes, and I think they just have funny titles for sections. They got the gnome-sized version, which is probably the TLDR. And then they said the old gods are in the details, but it has nothing to do with old gods. So I was confused there for a second, because and then it says redundant things are redundantly redundant. So that I think is the discount stuff. All right, so let's see. That's upgrades. So certain items will only have, so lower level items looks like they'll have up to 8 upgrades. And then when you get higher, they will have less. So like the hero level items, which is like 428 to 437, there's only 5 levels to upgrade those. So it'll be interesting to see. There's a lot going on. It's a new system. We'll see how it works out. It seems like it makes it a little bit easier to get gear that you can upgrade. So you're not relying on having to just do Mythic Pluses. You can do any endgame content and upgrade gear.
Yeah, and that was really the problem, right? With trying to like gear up to do like higher Mythic Pluses and stuff like that, right? Is that we're constantly hoping that gear is going to drop from the Mythic Plus that you can't target or anything. And your vault is going to give you the things that you need, so that way you can, like, I still have a 402 helm. I still haven't gotten a helm that is,
I think I still got a 382 belt.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like you get to a certain point where most of your things are at the max you can do, and it's just like,
yeah, like, and then you have to just farm the valor, and that in itself is,
at least it's going to open up the pool of gear.
Yes.
That is potentially best in slot, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's a couple of those World Quest trinkets that were just like upgrades of like some of the quest ones, like the Graal's tooth or whatever, which is that shark tooth that summons a shark to just come fly in. It's like, I would love to have that trinket at like super high level, but it doesn't go up that high, right?
Yeah. But I did like that.
I mean, are those things going to be things that are?
I would assume if that stuff is still offered in World Quests in that patch, they'd be upgradable.
Oh yeah, just bump up. Yeah.
I would hope.
Which is going to make trying to find the best gear kind of hard.
But like with everything.
Yeah. It's it is going to be interesting to say the least. So be looking forward to it. There have been releases of some of the reveal for the next season 2 tier set. There is definitely a clear winner in the tier set for the next raid.
There is.
And it's the fucking priests.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Have you seen this? Let me
find it.
Oh yeah, you need to see
Let me go ahead and send this to you so that you can look at it and be mad but in awe.
Oh, it's
as
so
well.
Good. It's so good.
Some of them are mythic or PvP, and they'd say in the description, but it's like if you scroll down to the bottom picture, there is a clear front runner for probably one of the best gear sets ever fucking created.
Yeah, it's real good.
The priest, I mean,
yeah, it's real
Dude.
good.
Why?
Wow.
What'd you say? It's fine?
No, he's like, why?
No, why?
I don't know, but it's goddamn amazing.
Because everybody needs their day in the sun, their day to shine. And
No. No, I mean, like, why? Why do you think it's that big of a deal? I mean, it looks like paladin armor to me.
It does.
It's like Judgment meets Diablo
no,
Angel.
they totally they got them confused. The priest is the last one. The paladin's in the
They
middle.
could. I thought that same thing too, and I would be interested to see if they did get them confused, because it is definitely it does look like more paladin-y.
Except paladins have kilts. They have those type of pants. I mean, that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
It's paladin
like
colors. It's like the Judgment stuff. It's got the wings. They pop wings. I don't think. Do priests have wings? I don't think. Not like paladins.
Not like paladins.
The Death Knight
They
shit.
tug you. They have wings, don't they?
When they die,
When they
they
trip.
have wings.
Oh yeah. But I mean, the Death Knight stuff
you.
looks just like Death Knight armor. It looks like a cross between like
It looks-
it looks good.
It looks
good
It looks
armor.
good, but it looks way too Shadowlandsy.
It does.
It does look
Except
very.
it's, and
yes.
it's like they try to put dragons on the shoulders, but those are just maw rats.
Yeah. It does look shadow. Yeah.
They got kind of like the dragon hunters. I get what they're going for, but it does
Why
look like
didn't they make a mall rat tier set? Oh,
they did.
God.
They just put it in the second raid of Shadowlands or
That's
Dragonflight.
hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
let's pour one out for demon hunters, because their shit just still looks like old Legion shit.
Let me see where
Yeah,
is
I mean-
the Demon Hunter. Yeah, it's like now part of that could be the way they have these models standing. It is
Maybe
kind
yeah.
of shit. The monk armor is just dumb looking.
Oh, the monk armor is.
It's
so
always monk.
bad.
It's always like super, super, super.
Like Chinese kung fu style type stuff.
yeah,
and it's
yeah, like-
Yeah.
I saw one of the best memes on the Reddit, and it was just like somebody walked in and they're like, "Oh, hey Blizz, go ahead and put that monk thing over with all the other stuff." And it's just like it's a helm of all the different monk tier sets, and they
Yeah.
all look like that hat.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all that style, and it's just like
The druid
They need
is
they
kind
need
of.
to stop fucking doing it. To be honest.
Yeah, the druid is kind of
that
Yeah.
helm on the druid is dumb. It's too freaking big.
Yeah.
The-
And they
I don't know.
reused.
I
the-
think you need to turn it first before you judge it.
Well,
They-
it is a bad angle, but
They reused the feet. Those are like the ones from Legion.
Those are
like the bear
what's his
paws.
face?
yeah, Malfurion.
Up here.
Yeah, they look like Malfurion feet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's asleep, so he doesn't need them. But
Rhonda.
I mean-
yeah, fuck that guy.
I mean, the leaves are kind of
the
nice. on 'em.
leaves are neat,
You
and
know,
they will look good with my
They
my
always
night
have
elf
leaves, though,
with the
like-
leaves in his hair. But
I don't know. Some
Although
of it.
I guess if you did like paws or like a tiger head, it'd be kind of anti-druid then, right? Like
we do have
if
paws.
you,
We have paws.
you know what I mean? No, like if your standard character model armor was like a head of a tiger,
right?
wouldn't be really druid-like. I don't guess.
Yeah.
PETA, isn't that what it is? And
Oh,
Lich
D-
King?
Dita.
Dita, yeah.
The warrior set they show is the heroic version, so I don't know what the regular version looks like.
Oh.
You know, it's weird because
and
they're
like all the rest of the warrior ones, they got this stupid like
The visors?
jousting helmets with the freaking holes in it.
I mean, that like the gladiator side, it looks pretty cool. It's
The rest of it I love actually.
the helm. I mean, that,
Especially if they alter the colors on the red.
well, that is
hopefully it'll
that
be
is
badass.
heroic. So the normal one could be a different coloration of it. You know, it
But
could-
it'd be dragonflight colors, I guess, more so.
but
Fairly predictable.
it's good. I mean, these are again probably works in progress. These are previews, right? So, I mean, they're this is
the
probably
mage one
it.
looks great. Like
The mage? That's the mythic one too. So they're not going to look like that. It's going to
really?
have
Oh
yes.
my gosh! Just stop. Let's stop. Just stop it.
The
Stop.
warlock one's the PvP set,
Really?
but it's probably going to be that, but a different coloration because it's typically what the
Oh, I
PvP sets are.
see,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like
So
I
this
don't
is
know.
Only, this is the only. These are the only ones they were able to data mine. Is that what the
Yeah,
problem
they.
is, then?
Yeah, that's
No, it says Blizzard released these. These were released by Blizzard. These aren't data mined ones.
Oh,
So I mean, this is the ones that they chose to.
fucking fuckholes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good to see that they're doing some stuff.
No, that's fair.
They released the dungeon rotation for Mythic Pluses. So it's,
Yes, I did read about that. Oh my
So it's
goodness.
gonna
what
be-
is that?
it's going to be the other four ones. So was it
Brackenhide.
Niltheris, Brackenhide, Halls of Infusion, and what's the other one that we don't never do?
That we don't know.
it
The
comes on the
arc,
key-
arc, what's it called?
Arclight Rumble.
Blue Dragon Flight.
No,
No.
stop! Don't talk
Blue
about
Dragon-
that.
No,
Is
Azure,
Azure
Azure,
Span-
no, Azure Vault is in the rotation right now.
Yeah.
Is
Um,
it? Oh.
it is. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Oldemon, the Legacy of Tyr.
the one that you did
Oh, yeah.
so much of.
Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't remember that,
Yeah.
but Oldemon will be good, right? That's a good easy dungeon. It's pretty straightforward. You don't have to worry about special pulls and all that stuff. And then the ones that they're adding from the other ones is they're going to add Neltharion's Lair. From,
Okay.
From Legion. That's not a bad one
That's
to do.
not a bad one.
That's
Uh,
a great one. That's great.
Vortex Pinnacle from
Oh.
Cataclysm?
That's
No.
gonna be a crappy
was it
one.
Cataclysm?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
Yeah.
was Cat Eye.
It's not going to be that bad.
The last boss, people jumping.
Yeah, I
Freaking
mean,
healing
people
people
get
with
used
people
to
not jumping.
it.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible.
Under
Is
rot.
that the one with electricity or something?
Yeah, it's got the
Yes.
static
Remember-
and it draws the triangle on the ground. You gotta stand in it.
Yes.
Under rot's
Yeah.
gonna be one.
Oh my god! And think about it with quaking.
Ew.
Well, they're changing the affixes. I don't know if quaking's sticking around.
I hope
Under
not.
rot?
Under rot
Why
and
would
then
they choose
freehold.
under rot?
Oh, freehold!
Freehold I like.
Awesome.
Freehold
that'll
I
be
like, yeah.
that'll be the
Well,
Shadow Moon Shadow Moon
I don't
Valley
know.
of
I
the
think Neltharian's
Shadow Moon
lair
burial
will.
ground.
I
of
think
the,
Neltharian's lair will
I
be.
think
You
so
think
too.
really?
Yeah.
I think it'll
Neltharian's
be.
lair is super easy.
I think freehold because that was the one that just was so easy last time.
Well, if they don't change it. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're making tweaks to any of these, right? They may do tweaks to Vortex Pinnacles. I don't think that was around for any of the keys. So, but I think it's good. You know, these are some pretty solid choices for dungeons to pull from the other expansions.
Yeah.
Under Rot's going to be a pain in the ass,
Oh,
especially like
Under
the
Rot will
first
be
couple
terrible.
of pulls
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But we'll see.
Oh,
We'll see.
Under Rot.
It's-
Oof.
I just finally got an image in my head of what Under Rot is, and it finally
Rotten.
just started getting
Mold.
flashbacks.
It's all mold. It's just spory mold. I
Right,
hate it.
but I'm just all of a sudden getting flashbacks to all the
Yeah.
different fucking fights. Like I could not remember what it looked like,
yeah.
and now all of
Yeah.
a sudden
I have
it's
PTSD
clicking.
from.
there was some
Under
bad
Rot.
pulls in there. So that one's gonna be kind of like which old dungeon?
They
right
gotta
now
do
is
the
it?
shit sandwich. They can't do all the fun stuff. They gotta do the
Yeah.
shit sandwich.
I have to say,
It
Court of
sucks. It
Stars
sucks.
actually turned out to be pretty decent.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Court of Stars actually turned out to be pretty decent, which was surprising. Because
I mean, that's good to know because that was supposed to be the shit show one, right?
Yeah, that one actually wasn't too bad. I mean, I still think they should stop the timer when you're doing the stupid bullshit masquerade stuff.
Yeah, that does get kind of old,
You know,
annoying.
but what are you gonna do?
Oh, yeah, no, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sometimes
That's
it goes
interesting.
well, sometimes it doesn't. It depends because if you have a paladin,
Yeah, they can just cheese it.
they can use
Demon Hunters too.
transmog your shield to be Truth Guard, and it glows when you're near the demon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
The sight from the Demon Hunter.
I mean,
Zone,
that's
so-
pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently, that was
I
a thing in fucking Legion.
Told you guys.
No,
Crazy.
I don't remember. It was
Nobody
too long
ever
ago. It was
listens
too
to
long
me.
ago. We're getting a new Dragonflight mount. It's called the Winding Slither Drake.
Yeah.
So it looks kind of more classic, like old school, like worm dragony type stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm.
It looks pretty cool. It's long like the other ones. Like the
God, is it gonna do that like wiggle back and forth flying thing though?
they don't fly like that. They're dragon flight, right? They don't have normal flight, so they're not going to have that motion. The wings are
You
going
say
to flap.
that.
The wings are going
Have
to
you
flap.
seen it?
No,
Have you seen it, Jim?
I haven't seen it.
You don't know this.
But along with that, they're adding 8 more glyphs, dragon riding glyphs to get in the new zone, as well
Right.
as a new dragon riding ability.
What's the dragon riding ability?
that's new.
Refresh all of your vigor.
Funny,
Basically,
funny,
yes.
funny enough,
Is
you say
it?
that. It's called ground skimming. What it is as long as you don't have like the charge for going really fast, the flight of the or trial of the skies or whatever the hell it is, and you are close to the ground, you recharge vigor. So if you're gliding along the ground and like avoiding, you will recharge vigor. So that way
Okay.
it will.
That's a little bit better.
Yes, it's better than having to land and wait.
Yep.
So it is. There's
And
2 talents that go with it.
can I just say it still sucks gathering when you're stopping to gather every freaking thing.
I don't know if that's really gonna be.
Helpful.
Well, ground skimming is another way to rapidly recharge your vigor because right now the only way to do it is flying fast.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an alternate way where you're not flying fast and you're close to the ground in case you can't get height to dive.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So it's gonna and they're adding new races and stuff. Like there's one like in a cavern and all stuff. And they're adding like these new like mole people. I think.
Mole people.
Yeah, like they got like the big.
Sounds interesting.
Like, they're like little short, fat, like moles. Like
Are they blind?
I don't know. Probably. That's
That would
probably going to
be-
be the stereotype for mole people, which is just bad on
Oh
Blizzard.
no,
but,
it is. It
hey,
is. They
Yeah.
say it says something about sight. Their limited sight. They use
Right.
blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
They are going to be giving Worgen a new racial to basically mount the Dracthyr or match the Dracthyr so that it'll automatically
Oh,
trigger
I-
human form.
I like to mount the
You got me
Dracthyr.
going there for a minute, Jen. My goodness.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you guys
Morgan
all.
mounting a Dracthyr.
I
Hot-
was like,
hot and
wow,
bothered.
okay, that is
That's some back page
it's-
yeah,
Reddit,
that's some fan
dark Reddit
fiction
stuff.
The new racial is called Calm the Wolf, and it
The new
will
ra-
it will automatically
out.
assume human form when you leave combat, kind of like the Dracthyr form.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Well, that
for
was one of their major complaints
Sure.
was that they didn't
yeah.
have that, and like Dracthyr, get it?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's good that they added that in there. Absolutely. That's good. Good on them.
There are some quests that have been data mined for evokers that seem to be hinting towards a new specialization. So right now they only have two.
Yeah.
Tank and DPS. This would be a support.
No,
Tank and
healer and DPS,
Healer,
not
yeah.
tank.
Oh, it
So
should have been. I'm
it
sorry. Yes,
probably will be.
it's not a
tank.
tank.
You're on it
No,
tonight,
It's
Jen.
not a
yes,
tank.
no. It's
It's another.
everything that's been data mined says it focuses on boosting allies rather than dealing damage directly. So it's potentially a support class.
Oh my god! If they start adding support classes, I mean, for one thing, druids should definitely be a support class.
Fuck. Druids already have 4 specs.
I know.
They don't need a 5th.
I know, but
Now, granted, these are just quests that, there are potential things, right? You know,
I
like,
mean,
this
they
could be a
should
thing. This could not be a
add.
thing.
They should add a support class. They should rework dungeons and add support classes in. And hell yeah, that's what they should do. Yes.
Well, the problem is it would require a lot of changes to things.
Okay. Change is good.
It's not.
Sometimes.
Sure, but that's a lot of work to do. So if they're adding it in, it's going to be with probably fights, or it's going to probably have a lot to do with new content coming out. Older content may not benefit from it as much, and it may be detrimental to take it. Like if you do a 5-man dungeon and one of them comes in as a boost, and you're doing like an old Mythic Plus, or maybe the new Mythic Pluses will be tailored to have something like that in there. Maybe things will change if you have that class in it. I don't know. It'll be interesting. So
I am interested because I am a sucker for support classes. Give us a bard. Oh my
Well, that's what-
god!
that's what-
please give
That
us
would
a
be
bard.
awesome.
So that's what this is kind of considered. So it's like a boost or support spec are typically thought of as bard-like classes.
yes.
So I mean, we don't know. These are data mine quests out of the 10.1 PTR. Whether or not this is actually something that's going to come out or not, we don't know. It's not going to be tank for sure, because they pretty much have said that. So it could be, because it says right here, it says, now Morgan Day seemed to confirm that a tank or even a melee spec for evokers is not on the radar, but he never really denied the idea of another ranged DPS specialization. So it would be like a DPS / boost hybrid, because I mean, it would have to do some DPS and or something to account for the lack of like a pure DPS class. So we'll see. It's interesting to see, and it could be an experiment, and it could be one of those things that it comes out and they see how well it does, and if it does shit, they rework it to be just another damage class. You know, and that's
And it'll take us another 15 years to convince them to try it again.
Yeah.
yeah. You're right. So, I don't know. That's a lot to kind of consume right now.
It's a lot.
There's
Like,
new
holy cow.
talent calculators out there for 10.1 on Wowhead, so you can mess around with it. It's not really a I guess the best way to really do it is just to log into the PTR and test them out, because just doing the talent builder on
Sure,
the web doesn't really give
yeah.
you an idea, because I thought he had some great shit picked out and it was trash.
Oh, really?
I
Did you
mean,
go onto the PTR and start playing with it, or?
No. I don't mean for 10.1. I mean for Dragonflight initially. Like when it came out. Like I went through and like, not really on the web, but like when it came out, like I just like, oh, these look like good talents, and they were shit. But that's what happens when you just decide to do it on your own and not, follow the trends.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for doing it on your own, right?
Sure.
And not just
it doesn't
copying
help.
a cookie cutter spec.
It does not help that Frost decays were kind of bottom of the barrel anyway. They suffer from the same thing that DK DPS tends to suffer from the beginning of any change, and it's that they're not tuned correctly, so they always get buffed. I very rarely have there been nerfs to DKs, especially Frost DKs. I bet if you went and looked back at every talent change or every change to that, they were all buffs. There was very few instances of nerfs. And that's just, the fact of the matter, and that's just what I got to live with. So, I mean, the things you put up with just to, be an awesome class, I guess.
I mean, it hasn't been that long since you've been on top, right? Like,
I don't remember when DKs have ever been at the top. Very rarely have very rarely have Frost DKs been up, and it's never been for long.
Oh, well, I thought Shadowlands or something like that, where you like blowing stuff out of the water. Then
You were doing pretty well at the end. At the end
of any expansion is irrelevant, because they're not balancing at that point, and especially with the new dungeons or the new raid format, the ability to get that higher gear, which I cannot remember the name of it. The fucking was it infused? No.
Faded.
Faded
yeah,
raids.
faded stuff. Yeah.
That allowed older gear from older raids and stuff to be brought back, and potentially, that kind of screwed up things, because some of that stuff was never intended to be like end level and expansion type gear, and that could do stuff. But that kind of stuff gives you the ability to, mess around with stuff. I'll never forget the end of Lich King when the Dungeon Finder came out, and you still had the 3 talent trees, and I would just go online and look for different hybrid specs for my Warlock and just try them all out, and just go in Dungeon Finder and just annihilate shit. Fuck threat. Fuck any of that shit. Just go into the Dungeon Finder, go in and just blow shit up. It was fun.
Yes.
It's fun to be powerful.
It is fun to be powerful. Yes. You can still do that. I mean, you can still go and try different things, but different things are going to be, and that's kind of the point of the dungeons. And this is what it's frustrating for me with Mythic Plus, is not allowing you to change your stuff on the fly. Because to me, that is...
I get what you're saying, and it removes some flexibility from doing the dungeon, but it also removes the need, or the feeling of a need of having to optimize each pull, right? Do you remember when you were changing talents every fucking boss in a raid?
Yeah, but this is
not, it's the same thing. If you have to sit there and worry about how you're going to optimize each boss. And not only that, it changes based on the affixes and all that stuff. That's a lot of work. So I can understand why they lock it. So it's just like,
It was only a pain because you had to keep using tomes to respec. Now you don't have to, so now I don't care. But it was the
still,
having to use
it's
tomes
having
every
to,
time
it's
was annoying.
It's still having to figure it out. It's still because you're limited to the number of builds you can do. So it's like, plus it takes time to change talents. And if you're changing,
Yeah, I
every
still
other
don't like the way that they do the talent change thing. Like, you should just be able to change one thing. It's
but
very...
I mean, but like even if you do a loadout, right? You do the loadout. It's like, well, one, if you do it manually, there's that time. But once you hit activate, you got that cast bar to do too.
Right.
So when you're doing timed content, it's
well,
it can
that
be
just
detrimental.
Makes me...
Yeah, I
leads
know.
me to
You're
my
going to get
final
back
point.
to, you know, oh, they remove timers
They
from
shouldn't have it be
dungeons.
timed content. Boom, done.
You are more than welcome to that opinion.
Yeah.
I disagree, but I like a different type of play style. So it is what it is, right? We're allowed to disagree,
Yeah.
and it's okay for you to be wrong.
I am not wrong.
I mean,
I'm not wrong.
I don't know.
You're wrong.
I'm gonna ignore that. I don't know. I'm excited. 10.1 looks like it's gonna have some good stuff. Brian, your homework is to watch that cinematic as soon as you
Will
get the
do.
chance, because that is fantastic. It's good. I can't. There's just so, because they're diving into the lore, right? Now this is stuff that is kind of hinted at in the books a little bit, maybe not quite what they're diving into, but this is all stuff that happened in the past, but they're fleshing it out. You know, there was a gap there, right? Which they filled, like the Dracthyr were kind of like, oh, nobody knew about that, right? Except they kind of did, but it was never brought up. And because it was locked away in the Dragon Isles. So now that we go to the Dragon Isles, finally, after 19 years of it being hinted at and possibly being off of the north part of Silver Pine Forest kind of thing, you know, like that, the old shit used to kind of hint at or whatever. You know, it's like there was not a gap, but there was room to insert kind of like, you know, to backtrack and to retcon some of that stuff. And that's like, because it doesn't really change things.
No, yeah. I wouldn't call it retconning. I'd call it, just filling in like
and so
gaps.
yeah. And
I mean, they've already eliminated what the future holds between Sargeras and then the Shadowlands.
Yeah.
So we don't really have much else to play on. Once I'll go back and fill in.
You know,
some
and it's
gaps.
just like, now they're gonna flesh out a lot of stuff about what Deathwing was doing, you know, in secret. Now, is this part of like his like slow descent into madness and his corruption? Because did he start hiding the things from the other dragonflights because he was starting to get the whispers of the old gods in his brain kind of thing? Because we know that culminated with the creation of the dragon soul, or the demon soul as it was when it was initially created, which they used during the War of the Ancients, you know, 10,000 years ago when the Legion first tried to invade and stuff like that. And what was the redheaded mage? Ronan and the red dragon went back in time with Broxigar and was it Broxigar? No, Broxigar was the half orc, half Draenei guy. That's the hunter.
That's Rexar.
Oh yeah, so it was Broxigar. Yeah, he went back and they were fighting with them and all the stuff. So, I mean, you know,
Holy cow! Wow.
Yeah, that's the
That's a
War of the
blast
Ancient stuff.
from the
That is, but like, so this is going to be kind of stuff that's not as deep as, you know, as not as heavily influenced by the old gods, but maybe before that. So there's a lot of room, and it's kind of good to see what they're going to do. It's interesting. I'm looking forward to it. because I feel that there is a lot of room there to really flesh that out and expand upon it and do some really cool stuff without kind of, fucking up everything else that's already out there.
Oh, they're gonna fuck something up, Jim.
Probably, but I don't know. I think that's pretty good point to end on. Hopeful for the new thing, but pretty much accepting of the fact that things are probably going to get fucked up. So
I believe you're looking for the phrase cautiously optimistic.
There you go.
yeah, what she said. So thank you everybody for listening. You can check us out at facebook.com/server restart in. Shoot us a tweet at server_restart, and catch you guys next week. Bye.
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 Cautiously optimistic.